Mic test.
Mic test. Mic test. Mic test.
Ready to connect.
Mic test. Mic test.
Ready to connect. Ready to connect.
Okay.
How many do you have coming today?
I think around 20. So yeah, not too many.
Well,
Yeah.
I think there's some people that,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, yeah, it's still, you know, it's a good amount, and it's nice that those people can come, and yeah.
kind of the same ones.
Yeah.
That come, but maybe some of the older ones especially.
Mm-hmm.
Granddaughter keeps reminding me I'm a high risk.
Yeah, she's looking out for you.
Yeah.
I'll work as a liaison with Habitat to determine the time we'll show up. If there's more than 10, we'll have a morning and an afternoon shift. Kim will be sending out an email with this information and ask that you respond to me to volunteer for a couple of hours. This will be one of 2 houses that will have impacted most immediately. So thanks.
Thank you, Bob. We appreciate the work he's done to serve as a liaison with Habitat for Humanity. And I think this is a real opportunity for us to do something in a really positive, constructive, 3-dimensional way. And so I would encourage you to think about, check your calendars for Wednesday, August 12th, I believe it is, and see if you can volunteer. I think it'd be great to have a good presence there, and then let Kim know and she'll convey that to Bob. Let Bob know. Let Bob know. Okay, I have it on good authority. Okay, thank you. I also wanted to let those of you who come to meetings personally to know that I have asked Rick Anderson and Aaron McGregor to serve as our liaisons in working with the Elmwood Country Club staff and management regarding the menus. And so they are planning to get together with them sometime maybe within the week. And if you have some feedback or comments that you would like to pass along to them, we'd appreciate that. I certainly appreciate the management's willingness to make this be a conversation. I know that the board is considering, what's the right approach to use. How much do we want to spend on our meals and versus how much do we want to continue to be able to give to the community. So today's meal was the next level up of investment for your meal costs. And so we wanted to experience that so we could compare that to the ones that we've had before. So again, Rick Anderson, thank you very much, and Aaron for doing that. Okay, time for happy news.
I have some happy news.
Great.
My wife Sue and I will be driving to Providence, Rhode Island on Saturday to meet our new twin grandchildren, Alexis and Ethan, and coming back on the 21st, so we'll be out there about 3 weeks. And then Nancy Lindroth, who is George Taylor's daughter, would like to thank everyone for sending the cards and letters. George's birthday was yesterday and he turned 96 years old. So a big thank you from them.
Thank you. That is great. Happy news. Greg, would you mind coming up to the front so that people at home can hear you in the microphone? You're at least that happy, right?
So happy news. We had our grandkids with us either at our house or at the lake for 4 weeks. But the happy news is they went back to their own homes.
Oh, yes.
Well, I have some happy news, or I guess maybe just a happy comment. I'd really like to thank Mark Osmondson and Kim for all of the work that they've done with the technology for our speakers during this last month, and I'm sure they will be continuing to do that in the future. And they've just made it work so smoothly for those of us who were in charge of programs. Thank you.
I second that. My happy news is that I have just now passed the 2nd year anniversary of my diagnosis with a breast cancer, and so far I'm cancer-free. Any more happy news? Okay, Todd Steinkamp will share the news with us.
Good afternoon, everyone. The city of Marshalltown will be moving forward on an overall total of nearly $14 million in general obligation bonds after projects were approved at the city council meeting. The one item that seemed to draw the most comment was a $615,000 to develop and institute a railroad quiet zone in the community. Other projects that would move ahead with the borrowing of the funds include storm sewer replacement, work on the softball complex parking lot, tennis courts at MHS, and improvements to the existing bike trails in Marshalltown. Parents and guardians will have an opportunity to ask questions about the Return to Learn plan on Wednesday. The Marshalltown Community School District will host a digital fact question for parents and guardians of MCSD students. That's going to be at 6 o'clock. The session will last 90 minutes, and at the end, all of the unanswered questions will be gathered and answered. A link to the event will be sent to parents and guardians today. Darren, Judy, anything else to add to that? All right. Republicans in the U.S. Senate are forwarding yet another incarnation of the CARES Act to the House, which Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley says is designed to address continuing problems with the public health crisis. It includes updated tax relief to help get folks back to work and help businesses safely open. There will also be another round of $1,200 payments for most Americans, with an additional $500 for each dependent. The package contains a new credit for expenses like the personal protective equipment and cleaning, which is needed to maintain a safe workplace for employees and customers. The package would also help nursing home patients and workers, in addition to freezing Medicare premiums at 2020 levels to head off a predicted spike next year. Officials are asking Iowans who have got a mysterious package from overseas to call the Iowa Department of Agriculture. The packages are coming from China and other countries and often indicate the contents are jewelry, but inside are small packets of seeds. Health officials are waiting for USDA guidance on how to properly dispose of these seeds, but they warn individuals do not plant them or even open the packages if they are sealed and you realize they are seeds. Some grocery stores in Iowa are not resuming can and bottle redemption, even though a moratorium on the practice has been lifted. Fairway Stores says it will continue to suspend can and bottle returns because of health and safety concerns. Hy-Vee says some of its eastern Iowa stores have received a waiver from the state to defer returns to a regional redemption center, but did not accept them at this time. Finally, a guy goes in for a job interview and sits down with the boss. The boss asks him, "So what do you think is your worst quality?" The man says, "I'm probably too honest." The boss says, "It's not a bad thing. I think being honest is a good quality." The man replies, "I don't care what you think, and I hate your tie."
Thanks, Todd. That was a good one. Our program this week is going to be introduced by Nancy Stevenson. I want to take this opportunity to thank Nancy and Betty Bowler for serving as the program chairs during the month of July. They've done a great job, and we've had some very interesting programs. So there may be, are we all set to go? Okay, so Kim says, "Deb, it's time for you to share your screen." A little technical challenges here. Oh, thank you. Okay, so Nancy, would you please introduce Deb?
Yes, good afternoon, Rotarians. It's my privilege to introduce to you Deb Milsner, who is the current Executive Director of the Marshalltown Central Business District. She's been in that position since August of 2019. Prior to that, she has been involved in the child welfare field, and her husband Wendell have resided in State Center for the last 22 years, and she has worked in Marshalltown for the last 20 years. Deb earned her bachelor's degree from Buena Vista, and she is currently in the middle of earning her master's in organizational leadership. Deb is here today to share a little bit more about herself and the Downtown Master Plan. Deb is excited for the future of Marshalltown as we continue to recover and rebuild. So it is my pleasure to introduce Deb Milsner.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here, even if it is just virtually. I am calling in from my phone, and then I also have my PC up so that I can see the screen. I apologize that I turned off the camera on my phone. I caught myself looking at myself too often and felt like I was in a mirror, so I wasn't distracted. I turned that off. So I hope that that is all right with everyone. So as mentioned, I am excited to be here. I was first asked to present to the Rotarians back in February, March. Unfortunately, COVID and some personal life experiences prevented me from doing that. So I do appreciate your grace and understanding and giving me a different opportunity to present to the Rotarians. The reason that I was so excited is I have seen some really great work that the Rotarians have done in Marshall County. I think probably the most memorable for me, since I do have a child welfare background, is when you did the coat drive last winter. I thought that was absolutely fabulous to take care of kids and families that are in need and help them be warm during the winter months. So I really appreciate the work that you do. So a little bit about me. My name is Deb Millizer, and often people, when they see my last name, they're like, how do you pronounce that last name and how can I remember that? Well, even though I'm in my midlife right now, I still go back and refer to my husband's college days and how he explained how to say our last name. He always threw together that it was Miller and Budweiser. So Millizer, Millizer. So we're a great beverage, is what we like to say. So my husband's name is Wendell, and he is, well, I like to joke sometimes that he's in jail, but he's not really in jail. He works at the Marshall County Jail. He is a lieutenant at the Marshall County Jail, and he's been there for about 17 years. And the other thing that is kind of unique about our family, in addition to kind of having a quirky sense of humor, is that we have 11 children. We are foster adoptive family, and we have 3 biological children, 6 legally adopted children, and then we have 2 girls that we were fortunate enough to get to raise during their teen years. And when I say fortunate, I mean we were fortunate to survive their teen years. But they're great girls. They're in their 20s now. They have families of their own, and they're doing wonderful. So with our large family, we also have 12 children and 11 children, 12 grandchildren, and a 13th grandchild that is due in October. And this one's going to live just 2 blocks from me, so I get to spoil this one a lot. So I'm really excited about that. So as mentioned, I started with the MCBD in August of 2019, so I'm just getting to my 1-year mark, and I knew that when I started this position that I was going to have a lot to learn. I had spent 12 years in the child welfare field previously, 8 years of that in leadership, and I knew that I was going to learn new terminology, new ways to do things, lots of incredible people, and I was looking forward to being able to build those relationships and to expand my brain. I did not know that in addition to recovering from the tornado, which I was aware of, but we'd also be dealing with COVID-19. So to say that this last year has had quite the learning curve would be an understatement. But we are here and we are trudging forward. Now, before I begin, what I would like to do today is I would like to talk about MCBD and the Downtown Master Plan. I thought I would start with MCBD's vision statement. Marshalltown Central Business District is the heartbeat of the city. It's producing civic, cultural, social, retail, and heritage events for the community. The CBD will always provide a safe, warm, and welcoming venue for nurturing commerce, greater fellowships, continuous learning, and social harmony. The Marshalltown Central Business District is a source of civic pride, driving a well-planned roadmap to continuously improve the community environment while preserving our past. Our historic Marshalltown Central Business District thrives on the efforts, passion, and commitment of people and businesses that populates its streets. For those, just a little bit more history, the Marshalltown Central Business District is a nonprofit and it's volunteer driven. Because we are a Main Street, Iowa community, we operate on a 4-point approach. Now, the Marshalltown Central Business District has been a Main Street, Iowa community for about 18, 19 years, and there's only 54 other communities in the entire state of Iowa that have the designation. So it's quite the honor to be a Main Street, Iowa community. Now, our 4-point approach, which is identical or nearly identical to any other Main Street, Iowa community, includes the economic vitality, which is to build a diverse economic base, our design, which is to create an inviting and inclusive atmosphere. It's like the beautification of the downtown. And then there's organization, which is building the leadership and strong organizational capacity, ensuring a broad community engagement. And then what I like to call the fun committee, the promotions committee, is used to market the district's defining assets and communicate unique features through storytelling and doing local events such as the holiday stroll. We are very fortunate that we have been able to recruit some great people to be in those committee chair positions. For Economic Vitality Chair, we have Raymond Starks, who is a young professional attorney that lives right here in Marshalltown. In fact, he lives right on Main Street, so he has a double investment into our downtown. Our organization committee, we have Steve Trotsky, who works for CGA, and he is quite knowledgeable and quite the benefit to our program. For our promotions chair, we have Alicia Fitzgerald. She and her mother own Staging to Sell It, which is the beautiful store windows right on Center and Main Street that we all wish we could decorate like and have our home look like. Anyway, I do. And then our design, I'm currently in the middle of recruiting a wonderful leader for our design chair, and the person that I have on my agenda I think will do a fantastic job. He's had a business, worked on Main Street for many, many years. So hopefully that will work out and I'll be able to recruit that awesome person for this position. Now, all three of the previous positions that I mentioned are new chairs that have come on since I began in August. I think after the tornado, we really have been rebuilding. Everything has been directed towards the tornado, so it was time to get some new footing and get to growing those committees as well. Now that I've told you a little bit about the Marshalltown Central Business District and our 4 committees, I want to show to you how that ties in to the Downtown Master Plan. Now, prior to me starting in August of last year, I believe in spring, there was a series of community meetings that were held at the Fisher Community Center, I believe. There's probably several people in this room or online that attended those meetings and talked about what direction that they wanted the downtown to head. The Downtown Master Plan is geared to be a working document. And I think one of the key things that we need to remember is the Downtown Master Plan is set for a time period of 20 years. I know that seems like a really long time period, but everything that needs to be accomplished will take some time, even though, you know, we'd all very much like to snap our fingers and have things moved along a little bit quicker. Now, when I first looked at the planning principles of the Downtown Master Plan, there were 4 that really stood out to me. Now, all 12 of them are highly important and they are wonderful, but the 4 that speaks to my heart are creating reasons and spaces for people to visit, socialize, and celebrate. And number 5, protect and showcase downtown history, heritage, arts, and culture. Number 9 really speaks to me, expand and sustain downtown partnerships to achieve common goals, because it really does take a community partnership and working together to be able to achieve what we want to achieve. And number 12, embrace and engage Marshalltown's diverse community from planning through implementation. As I said before, I think all 12 of those are really, really important. Those are just the 4 that just happen to really speak to my heart. On this next slide here, you will see that I have taken the overall synopsis of the Downtown Master Plan and their high priority recommendations. You'll notice that there are 6 yellow stars and there are 3 red stars. Now, what these stars represent are MCBD's either key responsibility role or partnership role in implementation of the Downtown Master Plan. So as you can see, the Marshalltown Central Business District has some major roles to play and in partnership in achieving these goals. At the end of the presentation, my last slide will have the web address for the Marshalltown Downtown Master Plan, where you can see the Downtown Master Plan in its entirety. It's quite the document. It's really an interesting read, and I really would recommend that you take an opportunity to look at that. I get asked questions about it quite often, and I like to refer people to it because it just answers so many questions. So as I mentioned, I really wanted to tie in what the MCBD's goals for 2020 are or were to the corresponding Downtown Master Plan priority. If you, as you recall, there are 4 legs to the MCBD since it is a Main Street, Iowa community. One of those is the organization, which involves in creating a strong foundation for sustainable revitalization effort, including cultivating partnerships and community involvement. 2020, we had some solid goals set out. We'd met at the very beginning of January. We had our Downtown Master Plan out. We looked at the goals that was from last year, the year before, things that we needed to really work on. And we really wanted to work on rebuilding our committee structures and our volunteer recruitment. I think after the tornado, there really needed to be a refocus on the goals for the downtown. Everything was so focused on the tornado, which we needed to do, and we're still working towards those things, but we needed to start paying attention to some of the other things that the MCBD was working in partnership for the downtown. So we really wanted to create a greater partnership. So we wanted to grow those memberships and friends campaigns. We really wanted to build out our MCBD committees. And then we also wanted to host a new downtown business and buildings owners event to improve the engagement. We were very excited in April. We had an event all planned out. It was a learn, meet and do. We were going to be inviting community stakeholders to the Orpheum. We were going to have refreshments. We were going to have time to build relationships. We also had an interactive art project that we had laid out so that people could be involved in that. And then we wanted to be able to take this piece of artwork and move it around in the downtown to create a point of interest and a reason for people to come to the downtown. As many of you are facing and continue to face, COVID-19 kind of knocked us out of the ballpark on that. And so we are retrying to catch our balance and what we can do next with that. So that really correlates with number 14, which is establish a formal, predictable source of funding for operations and maintenance of downtown gathering, streetscape, and greening enhancement. So that's how it ties into the downtown master plan. The next leg of our organization is design. This is the beautification of the downtown. Post-tornado, we're really working on the beautification. It's really been awesome to see the buildings being rehabilitated. Raycom looks fantastic. True Value looks great. Sports Plus, Big 8 Tire. I mean, we could just go on and on with the buildings in the downtown. McGregor's Furniture that are really looking spiffy and really brightening up the downtown, and we really like seeing that. Part of our goals for the downtown was to get 3 building owners to help support city design code and update. We wanted to complete the trash receptacle repairs. As you've probably seen, some of them are in pretty disrepair from the tornado and then just aging. So I've been working with the Central Iowa Machine Shop and getting those picked up and repowder coated. We were fortunate enough to get a grant from the Community Foundation to help us with that, which we're very thankful for. We also wanted to partner with Cleaniac for downtown cleanup. And then work with beautification, with at least one beautification project in the downtown. As you can see, that really correlates down to the downtown master plan priorities with design standards, parking lot buffering, screening, and implementation of a pocket park. I'm really hopeful that we'll have a pocket park here very soon, and it'll be another point of interest for our downtown. Some of our other ongoing activities include the Flower Basket Program, which unfortunately for this year, it was heartbreaking that we weren't able to do that, but we really had to think about the safety and health of our volunteers and being able to do that safely. Our beautiful pedestrian walkway, which is down between the Fiddle and Whistle and Apgar, which is now going to be Waxastatic. That walkway, that's a project of ours. And then also, probably my most favorite part of my job is the incentive grant program. The incentive grant program has the city code upgrade grant and then the facade grant that we facilitate with the city for that program. And I absolutely love working with building owners and being able to see their dreams of their building come to fruition. See the beautification of downtown and be a part of that. It's really, really a fun part of the job, and it's something that I really, really have enjoyed. The third part of our organization is the economic vitality. And as I mentioned, we were fortunate enough back in February, early March, we had recruited Raymond Starks, who's an attorney here in town. He's a very bright individual, very passionate about Marshalltown, really wants to see things move forward. Right as he came on, COVID began. And so we had to push off his orientation a little bit because everybody was readjusting in Main Street, Iowa. Now Raymond is hitting the ground hard and running, and I think that he's going to be doing some really wonderful things. He is working on rebuilding our Economic Vitality Committee. I know he already has a couple of members with business owners in the downtown. He would like to hear from more. He would like to be engaged with more people in the downtown. I know he's working very hard on putting together probably first a virtual Zoom meeting, and then as people become more comfortable, having a face-to-face meeting with some of our stakeholders in the downtown, building and business owners. The terminology that I always tend to want to go back to is support, because I come from a social work background, but really, you know, we're stronger together and we can build off of each other's ideas. And if we work together, we can move together forward. And so that's really what the underlying need is for that group. So, and that really implements with the Gateway Catalyst redevelopment projects, which is located in the opportunity zone of South 3rd Avenue, East Madison, and Market Streets. So if you have an interest in being part of the Economic Vitality Committee, please feel free to reach out to me. If you get an email from Raymond, I would really encourage you to explore it with him a little bit more, because we're only going to move forward if we work together. The last quadrant of our 4-point approach is the promotion committee. And as I mentioned before, I really call this the fun committee. They are responsible for the events that occur in the downtown, such as the holiday stroll. Last year they had the Main Street Madness. This year we were re-gearing Main Street Madness, taking it back to ridiculous days. You see little Marshall down in the bottom corner of your screen, the little bumblebee. We, at the beginning of the year, had decided that we needed a mascot. Our mascot was going to be part of our meet, greet, and do. We named him Marshall because it's quite fitting. He's a B for MCBD. And then also with the green spaces that are going in the downtown, we thought he would just be a fun addition for families. And you could do so many puns with the B, you know, be supportive, be appreciative, be active. We could just do all sorts of fun things with Marshall, and really pull in the families too. So for Main Street Madness this year, it was supposed to be ridiculous days. COVID took care of that for us, didn't allow us to do that. Which is very unfortunate. We were really looking forward to that. We were going to add 2 more events this year, which included a tour of homes. That was scheduled for June 20th. We were hoping that that would really be that people would really want to do that, and we would be able to bring it back for the holiday stroll. We were partnering with the Historical Society. Unfortunately, that didn't happen either. And then the other event that was supposed to happen this year was a trick-or-treat in the downtown. We wanted to include hay rides, include businesses on State Street. But as you know, and you are all facing yourselves, trying to find, and I really hate this term, the new norm. It's used so much and I hate it, but it's actually the truth. Trying to find our new norm and how we can operate things is really kind of tricky. I will say that for the holiday stroll this year, we are not planning on canceling it. We are planning on doing something that can occur no matter what our social distancing parameters, safety parameters are. We'd like to do a reverse parade in the downtown, which basically means that we would like to get all of our businesses in our downtown, even our service-related businesses, to really decorate, and then we can turn on the lights, and we can invite our community to come to the downtown where they can drive through if they're comfortable, and they can get out and take some pictures with some interactive light displays, visit our retail businesses at their comfort level, but still be able to have a sense of community. Last year was my first holiday stroll to be a part of as far as planning, and I thought it turned out wonderful. It was so much fun. I got a huge emotional paycheck from that, seeing families walk around and building memories. And I think that our community has been through a lot, and we really need to have something, even if it's not going to look like we traditionally do. And as I mentioned before, Alicia Fitzgerald is the chair of that committee, and we're always looking for people to be involved in that committee as well. Now, I've shared a whole lot with you about the MCBD and then correlated it to the goals of the Downtown Master Plan. Now, the MCBD still has some needs. We really need leaders in our community who will advocate and support the Downtown Business District. We need board members and committee members and volunteers who are committed to formulate, drive, and achieve our goals. And we also need, overarchingly, for our community to understand the importance of investing in their downtown. Our entire community is important. I think if our downtown can thrive, that it will be that it is a draw for the rest of the community. And frankly, I also think, since I'm a state center resident, I also would like to see the downtown of Marshalltown thrive, because I think it helps our county as well, because it is our county seat. And even though I don't live in Marshalltown, I've worked in Marshalltown for the last 20 years. And when I go shopping, you know, when I'm looking for something, that's where I go, is Marshalltown. And I would really like to see our downtown be booming again. We are making progress. It's been a difficult year, but we are making progress. I'm in my first year, so I'm still building and rebuilding relationships with our downtown business partners. There's, you know, several months out of the year that I was not able to go out and see businesses because of COVID. Businesses and building owners are making building improvements in the downtown. They're really utilizing the grant programs that are available. We're building partnerships and strengthening our communications with organizations such as Vision Marshalltown, Martha Ellen Ty, Community Foundation, the Times Republican, the Cultural Alliance, Chamber of Commerce, Historical Society, and of course the City of Marshalltown. Since I have started in August, our board has really grown. We have a great board, and they're really open to change. We're understanding that the same old isn't going to work, that we're going to have to shake things up a little bit so we can stay with the times and move forward. We are having great, passionate dialogue, and we are very future focused, and the meetings they're enjoyable, but we are getting things done. And so I really appreciate my board, and they have been very supportive to me over this past year. And we're also learning to adapt in a double challenge, unprecedented time. There aren't many communities that are still recovering from a tornado and dealing with COVID-19 and having our businesses closed, reopened, and having the challenges that we have during this time period. Now this slide here, I love this saying. It speaks to my heart. I was able to attend several trainings when I first started, and this is one of the takeaways that I took from a training in Jefferson. We have got to take ownership in our city. We can't wait for somebody else to do it. And as Rotarians, you are taking ownership of your city. You give back. You try to make it a better place. And so you should really be proud of yourself for all the work that you do. If you'd like to be involved with the Marshalltown Central Business District, I would welcome having conversations with you and hearing your ideas. I'd love to build relationships. I wish I could meet every one of you in person and have those conversations, and you know who I am and I know who you are. I'm willing to, if you want to meet via Zoom, talk on the phone, meet in person, I'm willing to work those things out. So if you have an interest in the MCBD, my contact information is on the screen. You can also reach me through Facebook. I'm sure you could Google me and I'll show up. And then at the bottom of the screen, we have the link for the Downtown Master Plan. So if you'd like to look at that in detail, that is available for you as well. And of course, we have Marshall to Be, and I'm hoping that we will be able to do some more fun things with Marshall to Be in the downtown. I hope he becomes all the buzz. So that's all I have to offer today that I had offered up. But does anybody have any questions?
I'll go quick. Well, Rotarians, I'm a Marshalltown kid, as I'm looking at a couple of others here that are Marshalltown kids that grew up in this area, and we were at the courthouse and everywhere downtown. I really appreciate, and I wanted to say what you presented today was really great, and I really appreciate that. And the leadership and the people that you have doing that is extremely important to our community long term, to bring the downtown back to where it was. I won't say how many years ago it was for me, because that's dangerous, but the fact that we need that done. The other thing I wanted to say is that our mayor and some of the leadership people and the mayor, yesterday, the great thing that I opened the newspaper this morning and found out was that noise that we have running through the downtown, which we get from the, as you all know, the noise that we get when they come through town is going to get stopped. And if we don't do that, that will be a part, and I wanted you to know that that'll be something, if you don't stay with that and keep the downtown, it won't be the downtown that I grew up in. And I want it to be that way. And I thank the mayor, and I thank the 5 leaders out of the 7 that supported that. So thank you.
Debbie, Greg Brown, a couple of questions, if you please. You referenced the Pocket Park. Can you give a little idea as to where that will be and what consists or what makes up a Pocket Park? And secondly, can you update us as to what is being considered for like a little more upscale apartments or apartments for young engineers, condos on the 2nd, 3rd level of some of the buildings downtown? Thank you.
Okay, I will do my best with that. I think the first Pocket Park that we are talking about is next to the Coliseum, and behind the old police department area. I think you're looking at a Pocket Park right in there. Oh my God, my space is on the screen stuck. Sorry about that. Anyway, so I believe that's where the Pocket Park is to be green space that's utilized in the downtown. A Pocket Park could be one that maybe has pickleball in it. It could be eating and dining place. It could be a recreation place. It could look different ways. As far as the upscale housing, I think one of the biggest hurdles for the housing in the downtown for the upper story is the sprinkler systems and the expense that comes from the sprinkler systems. The incentive grant does have the city code upgrade does help with the sprinkler systems, but I also know that the city of Marshalltown is working on an upper story grant through the IEDA to help with some of those expenses. For doing those. As far as locations of where these apartments are going to be at, I only know the location of a couple of them, and I'm not sure I'm supposed to exactly share those yet until the owners are ready to talk about it. I hope that answers your question.
We have a question in the chat. Who is responsible for the berms? Sorry if everybody here didn't hear me. Who is responsible for the berms?
Well, my understanding, and this please keep in mind that this is still my first year and my first experience with all of these things. My understanding is that I have a list of who is supposed to take care of the berms, and it seems to be the business owners that were right by the berms.
I would like to thank you for your presentation, Deb. And I think we had a good, lively discussion afterwards. So thanks to the folks that were asking questions. Concludes our program, so we thank you.
Thank you.
You had something else to say, Deb?
Oh, I just wanted to say thank you for having me. I wish I could have been there with you in person. I think you're a great group, and really, I look forward to meeting each of you, and I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their summer.
Okay, thank you. Let's give her a round of applause, please. Thank you. Next week, we're going to change it up a little bit. Our program will be given by Rick Glenn. He's going to speak about his MMA career and plans for a training center in Marshalltown with a focus on at-risk youth. So you don't want to miss this meeting. We'll look forward to seeing you next week. Please join me in reciting the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? We are adjourned.